This isn't one of those spooky ghost stories, but it's the scariest thing I've ever lived through. Not because of spirits or curses, but because it actually happened. Right here, in real life, in broad daylight. I was doing my NYSC, the National Youth Service, in a small Igbo village near Nsukka, Enugu State. A peaceful place with red earth, singing crickets, and people who nodded politely but watched you with sharp eyes. The kind of place where secrets don't die. They're buried alive and fed in silence. I was posted to a local secondary school. Basic infrastructure, concrete walls, tin roof. My students came from different homes, most of them poor, but you could see the light in their eyes. Except one, her name was Chinelo. Chinelo was different. She always sat in the corner. Never raised her hand in class. Never laughed. Always wore clothes that looked like hand-me-downs from 5 years ago. They hung off her like rags. Her school sandals were broken and tied with twine. Most days, her uniform was torn, and sometimes I could swear I saw bruises on her arms and legs. The thing that struck me most was her eyes. They weren't blank. They were watching, always watching. Sharp, intelligent, but full of sadness. Like she was there, but far away at the same time. I tried to talk to her after class one day. I asked if she was okay. She gave me this hollow smile and said, "Yes, sir." Her voice was soft, polite. But something was off. I knew it. Over the next few weeks, I took the initiative to keep an eye on her. She came late almost every day. Sometimes she didn't come at all. I went to lay a complaint to the head teacher out of worry and concern. She dismissed it, of course. She's living with relatives. You know how these things go. That was the head teacher's response. One Monday morning, Chinelo came to school with a swollen mouth. When I asked her what had happened to her, she said she fell. But we all know the actual truth about what happened to her. The fear of her guardians wouldn't let her speak up. She was always threatened. A week later, she had bruises on her back, barely hidden under her torn blouse. I asked again. This time she didn't answer. Her silence alone gave me the answer to my question. It was loud enough. I wasn't comfortable at all. I really wished I could help her somehow, even though I didn't exactly know how to. I started asking around, cautiously. I found out from the village residents that her parents died about 5 years ago. It was due to a tragic car accident. Both of them gone instantly. She was the only child of her parents and was sent to live with her mother's younger brother, who was her uncle, and his wife. The thorn in Chinelo's flesh. Her living nightmare. Oh, poor girl. People said they were strict. That she was stubborn. That she didn't help with chores. Those were all lies, of course. That she deserved discipline. You could hear the venom behind their words. But no one wanted to really talk. She's not your child. This is a family matter. She's lucky they even took her in, one woman angrily told me when I asked too many questions. Lucky. Really? What luck? Another whispered, just pray for her. That house. It's not ordinary. They were all scared to voice out the truth. I should have walked away. Minded my business and focused on my actual assignment in that village, which was to teach. But something about Chinelo stayed with me. Her silence was screaming. But how could I help? Then came the night that changed everything. It had rained heavily that evening. The kind of rain that floods the gutters and shakes zinc roofs. I had stayed back at school to finish marking scripts, and so I left late. The path to my lodge passed behind the compound where Chinelo lived. As I neared the compound, I heard something uncertain. It was faint, almost drowned by the sound of water dripping from the leaves. It was the sound of someone crying. Soft, sad, broken and desperate. I stopped. I moved closer to the compound wall. The crying was coming from the back, near the animal sheds. There was a small shack behind their house. It was a goat pen. Wooden planks nailed together, quite low to the ground, obviously not suitable for a human to live in. The crying was coming from inside it. I was confused and puzzled. That obviously wasn't coming from the goats. Why then is a human's crying voice coming from there? I went around to the back, heart pounding, hands shaking. It was dark, but I used the torch on my mobile phone. That's when I saw her. Chinelo. Curled up beside a goat. Wearing nothing but a torn wrapper. Her face was swollen. Her lips cracked. Her hands were tied in front of her with raffia rope. The floor was obviously filthy, no bed, no mat. Just goat feces and urine. The stench was unbearable, despite being there for only a few minutes. Her eyes met mine and widened, like she thought I was a spirit. I didn't say anything. I couldn't. My mouth went dry. I had never seen anything like it before. She whispered, "Please don't tell them I spoke to you. They must not even know you saw me here. I would be in even bigger trouble if they find out, please sir." I took a few pictures. Quietly. My hands were shaking. I recorded a short video as well. Then I left. Quietly. Quickly. In disbelief, before anyone could see me. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept pacing back and forth in my small room, still trying to process everything I had just witnessed. I just couldn't believe I would ever witness something that inhumane. The night felt too long. I couldn't wait for the break of dawn. The next morning, I contacted my cousin in Enugu, who worked with a children's rights NGO. She was definitely the right person to reach out to. She said there had to be concrete evidence. I was very prepared. I sent the pictures and also the videos to back them up. She didn't hesitate. She set things in motion immediately. She called her office and the police and filled them in. And by evening, we were back in that compound. This time, with officers and social workers. You should have seen her aunt and uncle acting confused. Shouting, calling it a lie. "She's possessed," the aunt screamed. "She's stubborn. We've been trying to correct her." They said the goat shed was a lesson. Who teaches someone a lesson that way? She said that they only kept her there when she misbehaved. That it was temporary. That it was love. Really. Love. But Chinelo's scars told the truth. Her experience and story said it all. She was removed immediately from that toxic and hellish environment. Oh, what a breath of fresh air on her path. She was taken to a children's shelter in Enugu, where she felt more safe and secured. In the shelter, she began her journey to recovery and total healing, from not only the physical wounds, but also the emotional and psychological wounds. They were deep. The uncle and aunt were arrested. Even though they didn't spend as long behind bars as they should have. You know how the system works here. But at least, they lost custody of Chinelo. The villagers all acted shocked. But I could see it in their faces. Some of them knew. They just didn't care. Or they were too afraid to speak. Over the next year, I visited Chinelo a few times. She didn't really say much at first. She just stared. But slowly, she began to open up. She could finally talk about her past. Her awful experience with her guardians. When we spoke, she said they made her sleep outside often. Beat her with electric wires. Starved her. Sometimes, they accused her of being a witch. Of bringing misfortune into their home. They told her she was cursed. That no one would ever want her. Can you imagine being told that as a child? That your very existence is a mistake. But here's the part that still shakes me. One day, she told me something I will never forget. She said, I used to pray every night in that shed. Not to be rescued. Not to be loved. I prayed for power. I wanted to be the one they feared. Not the other way around. Fast forward to today. It's been over 10 years. Chinelo is now a successful lawyer. Beautiful and focused. She graduated with first-class honors. She worked so hard to be here. To create a beautiful career in the legal profession. She now works with that same NGO that rescued her. The same one that became family to her. The same one that embraced her when she almost lost hope. She helps find, rescue, and protect children who are going through what she went through, all over the country. She is soft-spoken, but her presence is loud and felt. We happened to meet again recently at a global conference, where we were both delegates from our various firms. It felt good to reconnect with Chinelo, and she thanked me again. However, I told her something honest. I said, it wasn't just me who saved you. It was you. You held on. Your resilience and patience is worth emulating. She laughed and said, I didn't hold on. I became someone else. I left the part of me that cried in that shed behind. And I believed her. Sometimes I think about how many other Chinelos are still out there. Not in big cities. Not on the news. Just hidden in plain sight. Abused. Abandoned. Forgotten. If you ever suspect something is wrong, a child who is always quiet, always bruised, always absent, don't look away. Don't mind your business. Because you might be the only person who does something. And that might be all it takes. From that moment, I still can't walk past a goat shed without remembering her eyes. Something beautiful came out of my encounter with Chinelo in that small village. Love happened. love grew between us. She became my soulmate, and a year after we reconnected at the conference, we got married. Who would have thought? Chinelo, being the sweet human that she is, she looked past all the hurt that she went through, in the hands of her auntie, and chose reconciliation. She forgave her aunt and would visit her often with food supplies. This is the story of Chinelo. This is her today. A strong, focused and resilient young woman. A literal grass to grace story. Subjected to the worst kind of living condition. Battered and bruised physically, but never psychologically. She stayed strong and overcame all the challenges and hurdles. And today stands strong. A successful lawyer. A loving wife and mother. A voice for change. A source of light to those in the dark. And a beacon of hope to the hopeless. Patience is indeed a virtue.